Welcome to another Liquid Bullet Productions. Joining me today is Lucci Del-Gaudio. Lucci runs the Kaizan martial art events. It's a Jiu-Jitsu instructor. Does Walk the Talk podcast. It's all Jiu-Jitsu podcast. And he's also going to share with us a bit of his history and his upbringing. So welcome, Lucci.
Thank you, Lee, and thank you for pronouncing my name absolutely bang on there, pal. And I love your show. Thanks for putting on. Honestly, thanks for inviting me. Really, one of your biggest fans as well. So, absolutely, I'm a bit nervous about this one because I don't want to up, man.
So can I just touch before we start? Can I just touch about your the Kaizan martial art events you run? Can you just run us over a little bit of that, please?
Yeah. So basically, the main one, which I'm probably well known for, is the Kaizan Martial Arts Expo, which is held once a year in Nottingham. It's a multi-style martial art event. We run about 6 to 7 seminar areas or zones with all different types of disciplines on the mat on every hour. With that, you got your stalls as well, so customers can come and go and buy things, souvenirs, and whatever. We put on some awesome demonstrations. So that what can you remember the old Senny days, Lee?
Yeah, good old Senny shows, weren't they?
Absolutely fantastic. So if you think of that, that's what basically I would like to see Kaizan grow to.
Yeah.
The ultimate goal will be get it up to that like sort of Senny level. And mate. So our next one, we've raised the bar a little. Obviously, we come back from COVID. We had just across the road from my house, actually, at the Leisure Centre. The last one was. We had to come back. We had to come back from that back from COVID. And I was like, I don't know about this. That was going to be the last one. Because I didn't think we would be able to come back, and we smashed it, absolutely packed out everything. So we've raised the bars, playing around with this idea a few years ago, and the next one's July the 11th, called Kaizan Adrenaline, which we're introducing. Basically, it's a martial arts stroke fitness playground. That's what I want to be seen to be. Look, that's what I want it to look like. Just one big giant playground, like the Glastonbury, the Glastonbury of martial arts and fitness, something for everybody.
Yeah. We've got a bit of it all going on, a bit of fitness, bit of martial arts.
Yeah, kettlebells going off, CrossFit going off, martial arts. We've got a tournament this time. We've tripled the size of the area, so there's lots of room to grow for the next few years.
What's the tournament? What is that?
It's a mixed martial arts tournament, so it'd be like karate, kickboxing, kata. So I'm not running that. I've got another organisation who needed somewhere to put their thing on. So it's like, let's work together. Let's work together, and it's just something extra for the punters.
So is that also like an open tournament, or is that an invitation only for that?
It's an open tournament, I believe. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's an open tournament. I'm looking.
So if anyone wants to get down there, they're welcome to get down there.
Yes. So so that's the next one. And if people want to know about it, if you just put in Kaizan martial art events, in Facebook. All the info's on there. It's Kaizen. So I think if it's other, you know, other than that, we've got I'm working on a massive project as well called the Festival of Martial Arts, which is in Somerset, and that's basically a 3-day martial art camp.
Wow.
So daytime martial arts, evening time, lots of entertainment, lots of food, and yeah, let's see where that one goes. So yeah,
Sounds good, mate. Sounds good.
And in between, Lee, I'll do like little small ones, you know, little 100 man, 200 man little seminars, and yeah.
So, can I just roll you back to the beginning now? So you're obviously going to tell us a little bit of your sort of martial art history and growing up. If we can just roll back to the beginning, sort of where you brought up and how it started for you.
I grew up council estate in an absolute shithole in Nottingham called Snenton. But my shithole, it's our shithole. People from Snenton will know exactly what I mean. Grew up, Italian parents. My parents come over about 1950. Dad from Calabria, mother's Neapolitan from Naples. Bit of a lethal mix that is, mate. And grew up in a place called, as I said, grew up with eight siblings. There was 8 of us, big Italian family. Youngest of 8, 6 brothers, 1 sister. I
bet there's a few family battles in the early years, weren't there?
Mate, I used to get battered shitloads. I grew up in here. If you couldn't fight or defend yourself, it was hard. You was having a hard time, mate. Like life was fucking hard, mate. Proper. Even having 6 big brothers didn't help at all. Do you know what I mean? It was like every man for himself. And it was one night, one of my brothers were going on about this martial art film called Enter the Dragon with some geezer called Bruce Lee. And I was like 9 years old, and it was a premiere. And mum wouldn't let me watch it because it was on a school night. My brother persuaded her anyway. So I watched Enter the Dragon. I was a 9-year-old kid. Got up for school the next day, fucking break time in the garden. Everyone's kicking the shit out of each other, obviously watching the film, doing all the moves and kicks and punches and that. And one of the lads did karate, and he asked me, you know, if I wanted to come along. And I went along, and his name was Simon Oliver, a very well-known karate instructor in the UK, and I trained in the Sanshin in Stenton. In Stenton there's three main clubs. There was the karate club, the boxing club, the judo club. I went to all 3, and I'm one of these. I didn't get into the martial arts because of I was being bullied or anything like that. I got into the martial arts purely because I loved fighting. I was fucking good at it. Shit at everything else. My mum always said, I've got 6 sons from a big Italian family now, rightly, big Italian family, 4 World Cups. And my mum said this: I've got 6 sons, not one of you can play football. Valid point, bless her, valid point. So, yeah, man, so I started the karate, but my brother at the time is 15, he's 15 years older than me. He had already had a black belt in JuJitsu, and he used to take the piss out of me all the time, constantly take the piss out all the time. You karate is fucking karate this, karate really took the piss. It's all JuJitsu. It's all I've got all in my fucking tab all the time. It's all JuJitsu. It's all JuJitsu, and that's how I got the name of my podcast. It's all JuJitsu because of that, and it's still. Fucking after all these years, it's still spinning in my head. So, yeah. So I gave in the end, and I went to JuJitsu when I was about 12. I also started boxing around about the same time as well. And I fell in love with JuJitsu. I fell in love with all this Japanese traditional JuJitsu, Lee. And
a lot of people get confused now, don't they? When you say JuJitsu, they automatically think of Brazilian because it's a lot of it's well known, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Someone even said to me, "I've spelled JuJitsu wrong." I went, "What do you mean?" Because it's J-I-U, and no, mate, that's the Brazilian bit, mate. It's J-U. I do Ju J-U. So, yeah, man, yeah.
Lucci,
So,
can you just run us through a bit of sort of the traditions of Japanese jiu-jitsu? Because I just want to, some of the viewers might not know the difference between Brazilian and the Japanese. So you just give us a quick sort of run through that.
BJJ was also known as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Absolutely smashed it. Absolutely smashed it when when Hoist Gracie in the 90s did the old UFC, and BJJ took the old fucking took the show. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is mainly groundwork. It's a sports side. It's a sport jiu-jitsu. Some people call it sport jiu-jitsu. It's actual ground. It's a lot of ground fighting. At least, but 90% of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is based on ground. Within Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, the Jiu-Jitsu I teach is the other way around. So we stand up. My ground fighting is to get back up again. If that makes sense, yeah. So
in the Japanese jiu-jitsu as well, do you also use weapons, or are they incorporated into
Kobudo? It's called Kobudo. They've adopted Kobudo. The Japanese weapons like the tonfa. The style I teach, we don't really get involved in that. But the syllabus what I got learnt, there was the tonfa, nunchaku, the bow, the sai. The Joe. So yeah, there's you do get to learn the traditional Japanese. It's nice if you want to do it for the art.
Yeah.
But if not for the my jiu-jitsu, it's more street based.
Going back to sort of your life now, as we was carrying on through there, mate.
Yeah. So I got involved in boxing. I got involved in. I went on to like Muay Thai and picked up some Thai boxing. I didn't compete in Thai boxing. And obviously I was doing jiu-jitsu, went up in the grades, went into coaching, etc. And round about 19, I would have been about 20. Well, I left school, discovered the Happy Mondays, right? And that's basically things have started going a bit pear-shaped, and I dropped out of college, went to college, studied business and finance, and I dropped out of that. I got involved, in gangs. They're not really fucking gangs like you see, like in my day, there's a film called New Jack City and Boys in the Hood, and
Boys in the Hood, yeah,
and all that was well in. So yeah, man. So got involved again. I was in a, we looked after our little turfs and always fighting with the neck. Like I said before, I grew up in a proper fucking dump where one area fought in another area. It's called postcode wars these days, and
I know,
a bit like that. So yeah, got into that. I grew up near Nottingham Forest Football Club in Notts County Football Club. I grew up, right? So all the older lads were going to football matches on a Saturday and always coming back and they're always talking about the fights, what they had with the other firms and the other teams. I was like, fucking hell, we'll have some of this. And I was saying to the boys, come on, we'll go down. We was really young, 16, 17, and we'll all just like hanging around with like lads who are like in the mid 20s to 30s, and top football firms, and just messing about with and doing silly stuff with them. And it reflected. I could have been, if I want to make my missus. I want to have done no martial arts today. I want to be doing none of this at all. None whatsoever. Nothing. No seminars, no podcasting, not even, absolutely nothing. If I didn't meet my missus, to be fair. Didn't meet my wife. Yeah. So
for the madness, did she?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, sort of, man. Sort of. So, yeah, man. And I opened my first martial arts school when I was 21. and I proper failed miserably. I proper failed bad, and I tell you why I failed bad, because of going out with the lads, fighting in pubs, having that casual lifestyle, and trying to run a martial arts school, which failed miserably. So that closed down within a year. It was just absolutely appalling. We want that. I turned up once and there was no students.
Oh, blimey.
I know. So I turned up, there was no students. So it was like, and I packed in for a bit. I packed in. I thought, right, I'm just gonna pack in, and I just, you know, earning my own money. And I met the wife. I was a doorman. I met the wife in the door. I had five years on the door. I love that. I enjoyed that.
Find that?
I was, yeah, man. I'm like, I wouldn't recommend working for as a doorman to nobody. I won't recommend it these days at all, because it is it's fucking shit job, isn't it? At the end of the day, I mean you'll know that yourself. But I quite enjoyed it. I had 5 years. It's not really worth talking about. But out of that 5 years, I did meet my wife. I did meet the wife, and that was it. And that was it. Everything else was I remember my last night as a door. One of my last night. Well, the point where it was like, do you know what? I'm packing this. This is bollocks. I'm packing this in. It was 18 years ago, and I saw this kid get his face slashed open. I had to hold his face. I had to hold his face together. Yeah, and it was crying.
That or with a knife, or
don't know. Just got I had to literally hold his face together, and fucking glove on, hold his face together, trying to talk to him, and he was saying he's out celebrating his the birth of his son. His son's 6 months. My wife's pregnant. My wife's 3 months pregnant. I'm like, fuck this. I'm not. Nah. Got to grow up. Now and start being a bit responsible. You know, do you know what I mean? It's just pissed off of coming home, bloody shirt, fucking blood stains on my shirt. My hands were knackered, and
dealing with everyone else's problems.
I asked for the what I knew was the shit doors where I know it was going to kick off. I asked for them doors because I was on the other side. I was on that other side. I was on the flip coin in the early days. Yeah. I was the one getting battered by the doorman and getting kicked out, fighting with the bouncers. Then it become sort of like on the flip side. So I used to ask for them, and there wasn't no R&B nights in my day, and I did most of the R&B nights. In fucking one Arbor night when Tim fucking Westwood comes to Nottingham, and he's shouting out in a shout.
It attracts a lot of attention, doesn't it?
Absolute fucking dildo, what he did here. Absolute dick face of a move this was. So he shouts on the microphone, massive shout out to this posse, and a massive shout out to this posse. And these two fucking gangs just hated each other. And guess what happened? Boom. Great night until he fucking opened his mouth like that. Bang. Just kicked off proper. Really horrible.
Lucci, do you ever have to use like your jiu-jitsu in the door situation, or did you find that came in useful?
Really. When kicking people out, yeah, you know, you restrain loads and your locks and all that. But when it come to woof, it was more the worst fight I've ever had, and still ever had. And you know, sometimes when you get a little flashback. You get like a little flashback and you think, fuck you know, and it's like, it was when I remember I was working on this door, and a group of travellers came in, and the head doorman says, "No, you're not coming in." And they was fucking talking, and they was just being all polite, just going, "We're not going to mess about." And the manager come out and said, "Manager, yeah, let him in." And I just had this feeling. Because one of the lads was like, gave me a little smirk. And I was like, he's going to fucking kick off. And it was right. Just before when it was kicking out time, it kicked off. And I was always told since a young lad, like, don't fuck with the travellers. You fight one, you fight them all, kind of thing. So I had that in my bonnet. as well. So we was kicking off. Seriously, Lee, I gave this fucking lad my hardest punches. Literally my hardest punches I could. I gave him fucking everything. Jabs, big rights. He wouldn't move. This guy would not move. Normally, when I punch somebody like that, they're fucking out cold, apart from this one time. And I gave this fucking traveller lad my hardest punches. He wouldn't move. It was the toughest scrap ever I was ever in. Generally was. And it was sort of like, do you know what? I'm going to fucking die here. Something's going to, do you know what I mean? Thankfully, all the right fucking police come in and it was all. But yeah, guy just wouldn't move at all. Made of fucking iron. Made of iron, honestly.
It makes you wonder then, doesn't it? What length have you got to go to put them down?
Yeah. This is in a space of 5 years. The firework just missed my eye. Threatened with a Rottweiler on me. I kick this lad out. I'm bringing my dog back. But yeah, go on. We took the piss out of him. Go on. Just fucking opening up his ear with fucking Rottweiler. Run behind the doors, quickly close the doors. This Rottweiler's going up, mate. Yeah, man. And I only did 5 years. I think every Doorman's got lots of loads of stories, but I only did 5 years. And I know Doorman would have been on the doors for 30 years, 20 years.
I'll tell you what, that's a new one to That's a new one to me, mate. I've never seen anyone bring a dog to the table.
He brought a dog to the door, mate. Yeah, brought his dog to the door. Yeah. And that could only happen to me. That could only that honestly could only happen to me. Honestly, did you carry around little handfuls of chicken after that in case?
Oh man,
yeah. It was just this starboard. There's another time got stabbed in the back with a screwdriver by this woman. I was talking to the boyfriend. The girlfriend stabbed me in the fucking back, right up the slashed up my back, and turned round naturally, fucking knocked her clean out, and probably. We was brought up not to hit women or anything like that, but I was sort of like, that was a quick kind of.
If someone's done that to you,
they're
not there to be a friend, are they? So
yeah, exactly. Glass, fucking bottles over me, fucking just your normal Doorman. You've heard him all before. One of the times I like to talk about was lads always take the piss out of me for this, but I'll tell it. I think it's the first time I've ever told this story on a podcast about the dwarf, the midget. I had to kick him in his head. I knocked him out, unfortunately. In my defense, I was absolutely shit faced. You know that drink 2020? Can you remember that 2020?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
it should be called 40-40, man. I had a bottle of that, and we was out of town, and I'm saying to the lads, please don't kick off. I can't fucking do it. I can't do it. Let's just go on, kind of thing. I was like like that one, then moves, and this anyway kicks off with this other outside this pub, and I'm seeing this fucking figure running towards me, and I thought he had a bottle in his hand. He had something in his hand. It probably still was a bottle in his hand, and he's fucking running towards me. He's getting closer. He's getting closer, and he's getting closer, and I just fucking kicked him. Stepped to the side, boom, Washigeri, fucking smash. Took him clean out, and he's on the floor. This fucking midget guy is on the fucking floor. My mates and the guys were fighting. They all stopped, and they just turned around, look at me, and they went, "You bastard!" I went, "You absolute bastard!" And I'm like, "Fucking hands up, man!" I'm like, "Look, I'm really, really sorry." And I'm there. Me and my mate were picking this fucking dwarf up, man. Look, mate, we're really sorry, mate. I didn't know. And
mind you,
I had
a bottle in his hand. He was still obviously trying to do damage to you, whether he's small or not.
I know. I'm fucking known for that locally round here as well. On all my friends.
Funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to learn a lot of dirty tricks as well when on the doors. There was this big Glaswegian, really good, large, really going for it, and I'm like, I'm with a young door team in, and I'm going to get absolutely battered. And I put one end of a cigarette right up his nose, so the lip bit right up his nose. When he went to cover his face, I fucking booted him and got all the lads back in, and he just went on a psycho. And I get shivers when I hear Glaswegian accent. I think, fucking, I was at him, because I'm a dead man. And if you are listening to this, in my defence, man, it was your fault. It was your fault.
How was your sort of training through your jiu-jitsu? How did that sort of go, or what was the grading system put into place for that?
Yeah, so obviously white to black belt, then went on to Dan grades after that, and I went right up to 5th degree. And
50,
yeah, right up to 5th degree. But I called myself a black belt. When people say, "What belt are you?" What belt? I'm a fucking black belt, man. I'm a black belt. Do you know what I mean? And I tell you why, because it's really shit 5th and 6th and 7th dans what are really piss poor. They weren't very good at all. Who grade themselves, and do you know what I mean? And take advantage of the arts just to line their own pockets. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just a black belt. I do the art for the art. I do the, you know what I mean? I do the jiu-jitsu because I do it. I do the martial arts because I do it. It's belts these days, or in our daily, it was tough. When I took black belt, it was fucking mega hard, mega hard. Yeah, and the generation before us was even harder. You know, I know clubs. There's a local club to us, and one of my lads went there. One of my old lads went there and he got a brown belt straight away because he graded it. It's fucking wrong. It's absolutely wrong because it undermines other people, don't it? Those what have really grafted for the arts.
As I say, with me, I flew up to brown belt, and I got stuck on a brown belt for 4 years before I got my black belt.
Yeah. There you go. And also,
nowadays it's sort of
like you two fighters. Yeah, like you two fighters, like them fucking Wallies, them two brothers, Jake Paul and the other one.
Absolutely, Logan Paul. Yeah,
they undermined all them fucking grafters, man. I spoke to what's his name now? What's his name? He's a former middleweight champion, British champion. I interviewed him. Neville Brown from Derby, and he said to me when he went for the British middleweight title, he was skint, man. He was on the dole. He had no money, no sponsors, nothing, absolutely nothing. You think about all them fighters what are going through the ranks and grafting to get that big shot. Then here comes Jake Paul, put him in a circus fight, and he gets £10 million for it. It's
It made me laugh when he even made his own belt with Rolexes in it.
There you go. There you go.
Making your own belt. It's pathetic, isn't it?
Yeah. Best thing to do is not to entertain it, not to watch it. You know, my son's in a professional boxing camp now, and I'll make sure I keep him away from crap like that.
Yeah, it's the best way, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Lucci, can I just touch on your podcast? You run 2 there, don't you?
Yeah.
It's all jiu-jitsu and
all jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
It's all kind of through a little bit about both of them, please, mate.
Yeah. It's all jiu-jitsu. It is what it sounds like. I interview British, European, world jiu-jitsu instructors or anyone to do with all types of jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And that's been going for about 2 years now. You know, from that there's been seminars at the back of it as well. But I get to speak to some really good, interesting people, and there's a really good market for it as well. There's a lot of martial art podcasts. I wanted something little bit more niche, and I want to, when you talk to people, you want to talk you'll know this when you're interviewing people. You wanna talk about, if you talk to someone about martial arts and they have a genuine interest in martial arts, it's going to be a great conversation, right? But if you nail that down to just jiu-jitsu, you're talking to a jiu-jitsu. If you talk to another Thai boxer, you're gonna have a great conversation, aren't you? Because you both know what you're talking about, and that's what I'll find with it. The second one I've just launched is and it's very new. It's called Walk the Talk. Now, I wanted to get in the heads of people who've been there, been there and done it, you know. So yeah, let's just see where that goes, Lee. Let's just see where that goes. So I've got some interesting characters.
What sort of content are you going to put out on that one, Lucci?
Yeah, ex-gangsters, what have turned their life around, martial artists, ex-gang members, football hooligans, you know, people have been there and done it. Yeah, who have changed their lives around. Do you know what I mean? Bit of a lads one, that is, man. Bit of a lads one.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, Lucci, we start to wind it up there, mate. Is there anything you want to get out before we finish up?
Not really, Lee, but it's been nice talking to you. Nice coming along.
Great stuff, mate. Where, if anyone wants to follow you or get tuned into your stuff, where can they find you? Right,
Walk the Talk podcast is on Spotify at the moment. There's 3 or 4 on there at the moment because it is fairly new. And you can get me on Facebook, Lucci Del-Gaudio, or Kaizan Martial Arts Events, man, and just drop us a line, man, and see what we can do.
And obviously, and the date of your next Kaizan event was when, mate?
Sunday, June the 11th, Nottingham, Rushcliffe Arena, Nottingham. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, Lucci, thanks for coming on. It's really
appreciated.
Thanks for sharing your story.
God bless you, man.
Thanks, mate.